So today I want to discuss why citing and referencing high-quality sources isn't just a matter of following academic rules. It's also a core ethical responsibility in research. Understanding the ethical reasons behind citation practices and the use of media can help us be more thoughtful and responsible in how we share knowledge, whether through text, images, video, or other media. Let's start by thinking about what citation does. When we cite sources, we acknowledge the intellectual work of others and give credit to those whose research has shaped our own thinking. This is crucial because, as researchers, we're building on a foundation of knowledge that others have contributed to. Failing to recognize these contributions is a form of intellectual dishonesty. Essentially, we're taking credit for ideas and findings that aren't our own, which undermines the integrity of our work and disrespects the original authors. Beyond giving credit, citations also add credibility to our work. When we reference high-quality sources, we're anchoring our arguments in established research. This not only strengthens our position, but also shows readers that we've engaged critically with our topic. It builds trust, both in our writing and in the broader academic community. And of course, when we cherry pick or misrepresent sources, we're misleading our readers, essentially deceiving them, which is ethically problematic. So, citing and referencing effectively is about transparency and honesty. Let's go over some key points about the 7th edition of the APA Publication Manual, which is widely used in social sciences, education, and other fields, as well as in this class. APA style is not just about following formatting rules. It's a standardized way of citing that promotes clarity, credibility, and consistency. We also need to discuss how some of these ideas need to be altered when you're creating a podcast episode instead of a term paper. So here are some essential aspects to keep in mind. In APA style, we use an author date format for in-text citations in our writing. This means including the author's last name and the publication year in parentheses. If you're quoting directly, you include a page number as well. In-text citations are crucial because they let readers quickly locate the sources behind each claim, making it easy to follow your research. How do in-text citations work for audio presentations like a podcast episode? They don't. No one wants to pause during a discussion and say, Haraway, 1985, page 12. Instead, consider introducing your sources the way a news reporter might. The first time, you'd want to give enough information for the listener to find the source in the reference list. Quote, in Donna Haraway's 1985 essay, The Cyborg Manifesto, she claims, ... For subsequent references, you can just be more brief. Toward the end of her essay, Haraway suggests that... This will make it clear to your reader when you're borrowing someone else's ideas. APA requires a comprehensive reference list at the end of your paper, where every source you cited in the text should appear. You'll be providing your reference list as a part of the show notes for your podcast episode. The reference list should be alphabetized by the author's last name and double-spaced with a hanging indent format. Consistency in formatting, like periods, italics, and capitalization, is critical in APA, as it helps create a professional and uniform appearance. Double-check your formats for these. Don't trust the databases that generate them for you. APA also emphasizes the use of inclusive and bias-free language. This means using gender-neutral language when possible, like they instead of he or she, and being respectful of racial, ethnic, and other identity markers. Following these guidelines ensures our writing is respectful and reflects APA's commitment to diversity and equity. You might try asking ChatGPT or other chatbots to see if it can make your writing more inclusive. Just be mindful that generative AI, as it exists right now, has some serious bias problems. Although requirements about citations may often seem like hoops your professors are making you jump through, they're really crucially important components to the research process. It's important to remember that adhering to APA style is also about ethics. By citing accurately and following the guidelines, we're ensuring that our sources are properly, clearly identifiable, and accessible to others. It's not enough to just make it look like APA. Following the precise rules contributes to a transparent, ethical research process that respects both readers and sources. Let's shift to how we use media. We've worked on this a bit already, but I want to reiterate it here for anyone considering using sound effects, audio clips, or music to make their podcast episode more engaging. Using media ethically means considering the permissions and rights associated with each piece. Not doing so is essentially a form of digital plagiarism. When we use media improperly, we're taking advantage of someone else's labor, creativity, and resources, without acknowledging that we're doing so. So just as we wouldn't copy text without citing it, we should also be mindful about giving credit when we use images, music, or other media. To understand this further, let's talk about the three terms that govern ethical media use: Creative Commons, fair use, and the public domain. Each represents a different way of sharing or using media legally and ethically. Creative Commons licenses offer creators a way to share their work on specific terms. Some licenses allow anyone to use the work as long as they give credit, while others restrict commercial use or derivative works. This system of licensing makes it easier to know what a creator allows, and it lets us use the work ethically without needing specific permission. If you're looking for images or other media, always check for the license to understand what's allowed. Fair use is a legal doctrine in the United States that allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission for specific purposes like criticism, news reporting, education, and research. The key is that fair use must not harm the market value of the original work and should use only a minimal necessary amount of the work. Remember, fair use doesn't give us free rein to copy anything we want. It's meant to balance the rights of creators with the public's right to access certain information. In academic settings, fair use allows us to quote or reference short parts of copyrighted works to illustrate a point, but this should always be done with respect and caution. Finally, works in the public domain are free from copyright restrictions, either because copyright has expired or the creator has intentionally released the work for public use. Using public domain works means we don't need permission or attribution, although attributing them is often still respectful. Classic literature and older images are good examples of works in the public domain. Understanding these terms lets us choose sources and media wisely and ethically. By knowing when something is freely available or requires permission, we respect the intellectual property rights of creators and adhere to the ethical standards of academic research. Remember also that your podcast episode needs to be 10 to 15 minutes long and should include at least 10 minutes of your original content. That's you talking or you and a partner talking. Any sound clips incorporated should be used to make the episode more engaging. They should be short and purposeful. Do not use long clips or numerous clips to kill time. In summary, when we cite, reference, and use media ethically, we're doing more than following the rules. We're committing to honesty, respect, and fairness. These practices aren't just hoops to jump through. They're ways of honoring the intellectual contributions of others. And when we pay attention to these principles, we contribute to a culture of integrity and respect in academia. So as you work on your projects, consider not only the technical side of citation and media use, but also the ethical implications of these choices. This mindset will not only strengthen your work, but also prepare you to be responsible, conscientious members of any field you go into. Thanks.